Yo, live on the set. I'm your host.
I'm your host, Brother Jeremiah with Real Talk Radio LLC. Where I talk.
It's always real.
Very simple answer to one question. Do you hate all white people?
I don't think it's a fair question. The white man doesn't even come into my attitude. Mr. Muhammad teaches us to love our own kind and let the white man take care of himself. For a white man today, sir, after kidnapping millions of black people from Africa, stripping them of all human characteristics and relegating them to the role of chattel or animals, commodity, merchandise that could be bought and sold at will. And then 100 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, using every type of deceptive method to further us into slavery, called second-class citizenship, I think that it would take a whole lot of nerve for white people today to ask Negroes, do they hate them?
Can I have your name and badge number?
Well, come here.
My name is Gonsalves.
What's your name and badge number?
It's right there. Are you filming it?
I said pass to you.
Okay.
Could you please have your sergeant to come by, please?
I will.
Why you all mad? You all maddened. Didn't Super Bowl 2018 teach you the only way you'll beat patriotism is if you're willing to lose to their ego? Why you want to play for them? America ain't no team player. New Orleans ain't seen no Saints during Katrina. In Detroit, they lying to the people. Because you can't get a win when you're the Browns, whether in Cleveland or LA. They'll charge us wherever we touch down. When you realize your blood is royal, bleeding purple, they'll ask what you raving about. You get to speaking like a panther, you'll see hawks, and in Oakland, they'll be raiding your house. See the racists rolling coats. So giant, you Tennessee Titans bolt for their power. Like your revolution is a cardinal sin. These cowboys will always pack us in coffins. You got to be faster than a Bengal or a Jaguar just to pay your bills. These descendant of Vikings want to see you rammed until you killed. We expect them to play the 50 and they still 49ers. And you can't say nothing no matter how many dead children Chicago Bears, but because you my son. You too falcon to have your wings clipped. But because you my son, you too falcon to have your wings clipped. Yo buck when they buccaneer, meaning the lies they'll try to pirate your rights with, you'll fight with. They'll say, slavery and genocide you must forget, but always remember when New York got hit with the Jets.
All the main hip-hop stars were rapping conscious. So there was the Brand Nubians, it was the Poor Righteous Teachers, it was Ice Cube, it was Arrested Development, it was X-Clan, it was Queen Latifah. Black was in. So whenever the enemy seen that, wait a minute, this is not just some mumbo jumbo over top of some stolen instrumentals from jazz beats. This hip hop thing really has sway over people and can shape and mold public opinion. They can create a revolution with this rap. So they seen that as the dominant artists had an alliance with consciousness and the nation, they seen a transformation taking place among black people. Black people wasn't eating no pork. X-caps everywhere, African medallions everywhere, brother and sister. Everybody was talking about struggle, freedom, independence, doing for self. And they knew that they couldn't allow that to remain in existence. So they hijacked conscious, inserted gangster. Now you got drill and selling dope, womanizing, and abusing, and verbal pornography is the new style of music now. Why? Because they know music is the most effective teacher on the planet. Ain't nothing more effective of teaching than music. The minister said this. He said, one good rap song is worth more than 1,000 of my speeches.
Who directly taught you was the most significant in your life?
My elders, my teachers, my parents.
Your
my
parents,
ancestors.
like your grandmother, your parents.
I learned from everybody.
Did they teach you about Jesus Christ?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, so they believed in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Can we move on? Stop. I don't want to talk about this no more. Move on. Next question. Next question. Next question, bro. Next question.
Can I ask a question? How much of that do you feel has an effect on you as an individual? Those teachings that came from your grandparents, your mother, your father, in terms of how you interact with others, how you feel about life, how you feel.
Well,
Good question, but because I'm a Pan-Africanist, I believe in freedom of religion.
So let's stay there. I don't want to. I'm not taking anybody's side.
No, I'm not saying you are.
There's a broader perspective that I.
Right, but I'm answering you, and I'm answering you by saying, because I came into black consciousness at 9 years old in the 4th grade. I've been a Pan-Africanist since that time. You feel me? That's very early in life. So from the beginning, I never held religion against anyone, and I never forced it. You see what I'm saying? So my issue, for example, many of my Pan-Africanist forefathers were Christian preachers. Henry Highland Garnett, Alexander Crummell, Bishop Henry McNeill Turner, Marcus Garvey was a Christian. You understand that? I'm a descendant of Christian pastors. You understand? So I speak in churches all the time. My issue isn't Christianity, it's the way that it's used. And the reason why religion is not a unifying force is because religion is a very arrogant, presumptive, dictatorial, and chauvinist approach to building a relationship with God that alienates people. Religion alienates. And do you know why religion alienates? Because everybody thinks their way is the only way. It is not comprehensive. It is not open-ended. Christians believe their way is the only way. Muslims believe their way is the only way. Hebrews believe their way is the only way. You can't unify people like that because Africans are so spiritually diverse. We belong to every system. So you can't show up with a Bible and say this is the way it's going to be. You can't show up with a Quran and say this is the way it's going to be. The reason why the Honorable Marcus Garvey was the greatest organizer in modern history, although he was a Christian, his organization was not Christian. It was based on African culture, African consciousness, African religion.
And it failed.
No, it did not fail. It did not fail. What do you mean?
It failed.
Marcus Garvey gave the blueprint for the independence of the African continent. He liberated an entire continent ideologically. Now, what has your religion done?
It failed.
What has your religion done comparable to that?
It failed.
What has your religion done comparable to that? And do you hear? It failed. Do you see this? So you get that religious chauvinism, elitism. That's what you got. It failed. He pushing the Bible, but Garvey failed. Give me a break. You've done nothing for the African community. Nothing.
Burns, she wants to take a break. She wants to pause. Let's pause.
No, I don't want to pause. I want them to pause.
I want to go in another direction. I broke my rules. I don't discuss religion. Do you feel me? Because of these narrow-minded views that religious black people have. It's not a tool of unity. It's only a tool of division. But the point that I was making is the reason Garvey was the most successful is he's the only one who had the wisdom to say that religion will divide us more than bring us together. And he was a devout Christian. But he knew the religious immaturity of black people would separate us.
Like your grandparents?
So Garvey kept the UNIA ACL focused on African culture, African consciousness, African liberation.
Just think about what you're saying now.
He wants a religious movement. Everybody don't need to follow the Bible. Everybody don't have to follow the Bible. Christianity is only 2,000 years old. Do you know how old we are? African people, modern Africans, been on the planet 250,000 years old. We've been dealing with God for 250,000 years old, and this man wants me to throw out my spiritual heritage and culture and reduce my association with the Most High to a book that he reads. That's only 2,000 years old, and it's not even that, because after the so-called crucifixion of Jesus, who we can't even prove existed,
the scriptures are way more
who we can't even prove existed, the Bible wasn't written down for what, 100, 200 years after Christ? So the religion might be 2,000 years old. The Bible might have been with us for what, 1,800 years old? Do you know how ridiculous it would be for people with 250,000 years of spiritual culture to throw it out to pick up a 2,000-year-old book? That's insanity.
All right, copy. What burn so we can move on?
And you got over 200 or 300 different versions of the Bible. None of them agree on anything.
I agree.
The whole life of Jesus is reduced to 4 Gospels. They know nothing of Jesus from the time he went into Kemet, spiritual center of African people, where he was taught, studied, and groomed into African spirituality. Where was Christ from 7 to 30? Where was he at? Studying traditional African spirituality at the feet of our ancestors. That's where Jesus was. Everything in his Bible was stolen, borrowed, and plagiarized from traditional African spirituality. Why do I need a carbon copy bootleg religion when my ancestors left me the original?
I think that there's a lot of passion that you're both bringing into the conversation from your perspective and from Biggest perspective. I'm going to offer you my perspective of what I'm looking at from the outside looking in. From the outside looking in, again, Biggest bringing into, in my opinion, I've always told people that regardless of every single congregation known to man, between Muslims, Catholics, Christians, whoever it is, there's a unification of every single religion that's known to man, which in my opinion translates into respect another human being. I could just condense every single chapter in the Bible, every single chapter in the Quran, every single chapter in.
But if that's a point you're making, then that's highlighting another contradiction. Because all religions are dictatorial and narrow-minded. They don't respect views of other people. None of them do. Every religion teaches my way is the only way. So when you say every religion believes in that, they may profess it, they don't practice that.
Every religion might profess.
Yeah, they profess. They don't practice that. Religions are not tolerant of beliefs that are not consistent with their own. They're not.
So there isn't an interaction that you would have with a person that's, let's say, a Muslim or regardless of what it is that they're practicing, where they address you in a respectful manner?
Yes, but you can be respectful because both of y'all are human beings. It ain't got nothing to do with the fact that he belongs to this religion and that belongs to...
A lot of those
more people have died in the name of Jesus and Muhammad than any other cause in the history of mankind. Are you aware of that? Let me say that one more time. More people have been killed over Jesus and Muhammad than every other cause of death in human history. How in the hell can religion be a unifying factor?
I feel like when people cannot separate one emotion behind another, that's what it's conflict.
I'm coming from another way. You know where I'm coming from? I'm coming from black people are older than Jesus, older than Abraham, older than Noah, older than Muhammad, older than Moses. We're older than all of that. So why we even got to unify through religion, which a lot of us don't believe in because we got our own spiritual system, why we using religion? Use culture.
You need to have water, you need to have a radio on batteries, and you need to have a flashlight on batteries to make sure that you can survive the first 36 hours. Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be hunky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans. That's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia and the terror groups, if it comes to it, if they attack us. We're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready.
You found a cure for cancer? I didn't come up with it. A couple of eggheads I hired did. One of them's a Chinese. Boy, I don't like those people. But holy crap, wind them up and watch them go. How long have you had this? I don't know. When was that Who Let the Dogs Out song? You've had this since 1999? You know when Who Let the Dogs Out came out? It's a song about dogs and letting them out. I could have you arrested for breaking in here. Carter, you've discovered the holy grail of modern medicine. Why the hell would you keep it buried like this? I'll tell you why. Because there's far more money to be made in treating a disease than in curing it. Why cure someone of cancer in a day if we can treat them for a lifetime and bill them every step along the way? What? That's insane! Carter, what you're doing here is criminal, and I'm going to tell the whole world about it. Is that right? Who's going to believe you? The internet? You'll be just another nutjob left-wing blogger.
So that's where Real Talk Radio came into play. The LLC part of it was added when I realized that I can actually convert the business into a government by utilizing my LLC attached with Real Talk Radio. So it became Real Talk Radio LLC after doing a diligent work on taking control over the media, utilizing the same services that was provided, yet allowing it to work in a real way. And if that's challenging for those to understand, okay, I want you to have this idea. I want you to see something.
Okay.
So the government currently runs the media. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's where you're going to have to do your diligent research. I can break that down for everyone. Yet that's more of a class, not a sit over the table type of conversation.
Right.
I can actually break it down for the people so that they can see. It's Yakwa Shah, Yakwa La, Ben Yakwa. Yakwa Aruna Zedek, Yakwa Shah, Yakwa La, Ben Yakwa. Yakwa Aruna Zedek, Yakwa Shah, Yakwa La, Ben Yakwa.
10511. Now step outside.